Didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I was definitely interested in military service, but when it came to choosing a branch, my mom's dad, Jim Shalala, who we called Papa, was with the Easy Company 2nd Ranger Battalion in World War II. It certainly had a huge influence on me. Me and my brothers would try to look up, what 2nd Ranger Battalion did, but it wasn't something that he ever wanted to talk about. I think he wanted to shield it, from us. I think in a way that made it even more impactful on me because I knew that I wanted to be like him. He was someone that I always emulated growing up, and the way he carries himself, and the way he acts, the way he treats people. I want to do the same thing. I'm Major Jack Gibson. I'm the Regimental Judge Advocate for the 75th Ranger Regiment. My oldest brother, RJ, he also was in the Army. He was an infantry officer. He was scheduled to deploy with his battalion to Afghanistan. My grandfather, wanted to be there. Papa wanted to be there to see his grandson, go off and deploy, obviously given his background. My mom, my youngest sister, and Noni and Papa went down. They saw him off. They were headed back home. They were sitting at a red light. A car slams into the back of my mom's van, going about 70 miles an hour. Both my grandparents died instantly. My sister was life-flighted to Baton Rouge, LSU hospital. She eventually succumbed to her injuries the next day. It affected me in every way that you might imagine. This was March of my senior year, so I was 2 months away from graduating high school. I had a lot of thoughts going through my head. There were several days where, I didn't think that I was going to go to West Point or maybe requested to defer it for a year. But ultimately, I decided to go, and I started thinking about the impact that my grandfather had on me. I think a lot of what made him who he was his experiences with 2nd Ranger Battalion in World War II. I was hoping that I could sort of take maybe a little bit of what made him who he was and sort of apply that to my life. One of the first couple of weeks that I was at Ranger Regiment, we did a staff, physical training event at Peden Field, Colonel Kersey's favorite physical training event. And at the end of that event, he said, "A Ranger speaks with his deeds, not his words." When he said that, I kind of pictured my grandfather almost instantly. I always knew him as someone who, spoke with deeds, not words. He was very humble. He cared a lot about helping people, spending time with people. What really makes a Ranger is, what they do, not what they say. I've thought a lot about going over to Normandy. Obviously, over the past couple months, I've gotten emotional a lot thinking about it. Now that I have a better understanding of what it means to be a Ranger, what specifically your 2nd Ranger Battalion did, in particular in World War II, I'd love to pick his brain and understand what was going through his mind, how he endured through, the harrowing missions that he was, tasked to be a part of. How cool would it be if he was, around, or if I could have ever visited Normandy with him? But honestly, I'm not sure if there's anything that I would really say to him. I think maybe just being with him, spending time with him. I would love for him to see, me being a Ranger.